Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Context is King. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me as always is WatchMojo founder and CEO Ashkan Karbisrushan to discuss the golden age of YouTube. And is it over? Is it over?
When was the golden age in your opinion?
2013?
2013. Interesting time. I think we're talking about the Verge article.
Yeah.
Okay, great article, to be fair. I think a lot of research. But I think it actually talks about how everybody has a different perception and perspective and what YouTube meant to them. So what did you, like early on growing up, what did you mainly turn to YouTube for?
Growing up.
Growing up, you know what I mean. You're only mid-20s, so whatever, however old you were when you started to.
What did I do on YouTube? I don't know, like just see clips of shows or music or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, for me it was always a music platform. It was like a better version of Napster.
Right.
But so I think the premise, it's a great article, well researched, but I respectfully, very respectfully think the basic premise is false or incomplete or biased. And it basically says that like YouTube has turned its back on this world of creators and YouTube influencers or YouTubers. And I'm not sure if YouTube was ever about YouTubers, so to speak. I think YouTubers were just a very convenient prop in this plot that, frankly, YouTube needed characters to cast in. And what do I mean by that? YouTube is a platform that its roots were basically built on piracy. Lazy Sunday.
Well, I mean, the origin story is they wanted the Janet Jackson nip slip online, isn't it?
True. It was. They spun it that we went to a party and it was hard to share videos, which is kind of bullshit. It was. We want an easy way to share videos like that. But if you look at the evolution of YouTube, from the early piracy, then it went to there were always these YouTubers, and we'll get to that. And then there was do-it-yourself how-tos. Then there was like
how to tie a tie.
How to tie a tie. We had that. Then the unboxing, and then the music. Obviously, Vivo. The Let's Play category, and as well as the list guys, and WatchMojo being one of them. But if you go back to what Smosh's president, Barry Blumberg, said, and he kind of joined the Smosh guys early on, he said, look, he goes, this was a platform, and I'm paraphrasing, he goes, this was a platform that had a lot of pirated content, and whoever was there would then kind of like upload their own stuff, and then the viewers were kind of just refreshing, and if you kept uploading, the algorithm, well, before the algorithm, like you'd get featured and you'd build a presence. So I'm not so sure that if you're YouTube early on, you can't really call up Viacom and be like, does SpongeBob want to make an appearance? It's like, no, we're suing your ass. And then Taylor Swift, or at the time Eminem or whoever is blowing up, you're not going to call Universal Music because they hate your guts. So you're kind of looking around. Are you going to call WatchMojo that's like fighting the fair use fight and telling rights holders like we're allowed to, they're like, okay, even though ironically YouTube built its business on the DMCA for safe harbors. So when you kind of are going through like process of elimination, who's left? Well, the first time they had a shindig in New York, they had Esme Denters, some, cover artist. We interviewed her, this like young, cute Dutch girl, and she's on stage, and I remember being in the back going, oh my God, like what is this platform? And then it was like at Brandcast, who are they going to bring? Some other. And so even if you go back to that $100 million commitment, they largely allocated it to the Reuters and Wall Street Journals. Now, yes, there was companies like Vice that got some dough and parlayed it. There was the Green Brothers. But by and large, I feel like this article kind of misses that YouTube was always about the kind of disenfranchised. That's why there was a lot of LGBTQ members. Because if you're being bullied and not understood with your family or at school, you could turn to YouTube and kind of open up. But to ever pretend that YouTube, and I might get in trouble for this, but to ever pretend that YouTube ever gave a damn about these YouTubers is really beyond naive. You were just convenient, like a Kleenex. They needed to put you somebody, because billion-dollar media franchises are built on personalities and brands and characters, right? So if YouTube isn't going to call up SpongeBob or Taylor Swift, these creators were there. But I feel now coming around and saying, oh my God, we were sold out is disingenuous, because I feel like it was a convenient relationship that worked until it didn't. And I think the top influencers aren't necessarily loved by YouTube staff anyway for fairly unpopular but obvious reasons.
Yeah, no comment.
Well, no, but just hold on. I'm not saying, look, if you are a YouTube employee, you are, let me explain it to you, because YouTube employees, these are not, by the way, YouTube employees I talk to, but these are definitely people who happen to work at Google and YouTube that we don't work with, so they'll open up to me a bit more. These are like just some headlines that YouTube staff face. YouTube facing lawsuit that alleges toy unboxing videos are abusive advertising practices aimed at children. That's one. Two, YouTube disabled comments on thousands of creators' channels to prevent child predators. Three, it gets better, Muslim advocacy group files suit against YouTube, Facebook for hosting Christchurch shooting videos. So exactly, that's like Monday, right? So you're a YouTube employee, you've graduated from a great school, your IQ is probably 180, and you basically are working at a platform that has made a lot of these, 1 out of a million goes on to become the Shane Dawson and PewDiePies, and a lot of them don't become well known. But you basically are toiling away, putting up with this kind of crap. But then you have these influencers like the Paul brothers who then are shooting videos of like some dude who just killed himself and putting it online. So I think a lot of YouTube employees are also like, well, it's a platform that has made a lot of these YouTubers really popular, made them a lot of money, and they're not really appreciative in that they make us look bad. They make us look bad to the community. They make us look bad to the advertisers. We walk in there trying to, at the end of the day, put money in their pocket, and they are, and I know everybody is, and the author wrote it, she was like, somebody wrote that, not an author, somebody on Twitter said, I really wish we talked about like the LGBT community and how they, they kind of have been used or exploited by YouTube. So the Paul brothers are not symbolic of everybody on YouTube, but it is frustrating if you're a YouTube person going in and trying to ultimately get money for these creators, and somebody is like, well, aren't you the platform that hosts suicide videos? You know what I mean? So I feel like everybody has to drop this sense of entitlement. Everybody has to drop this notion that like, we built YouTube. YouTube is a million things. I've never watched a single Shane Dawson video, and you know what? There's others that will watch those videos. There are people who love WatchMojo, there are people who hate WatchMojo, but I think whenever you want to have a conversation about something and you go to an extreme and it's like, it's only about this, then you can't really have that conversation, right? So I feel like I don't necessarily think the golden age of YouTube is over. I think it's the opposite. I think this is the best time to be in media. I think there are fantastic tools if you're a storyteller. But I think this sense of like this bullshit of we love YouTube and the web because it's a democratic platform and everybody could be a creator, but then once you're inside, you're like, hey, let's just close off the club door. Nobody else could get in. I think that's the thing that becomes a bit hard to swallow.
Right. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, whose fault is it? Is it the creators? Is it YouTube? Is it everybody? Is it just...
Well, my philosophy fundamentally is, so eBay's founder, Pierre Omidyar, French-American, Iranian entrepreneur, executive philanthropist today, he always says, and it sounds good, I'm not even sure he believes this, that people are fundamentally good, right? I don't know if people are fundamentally good. I think we want to believe that people are fundamentally good.
Reading the YouTube comment section makes me believe otherwise.
Exactly. But I think ultimately it's very easy to blame the tools. It's very easy, but who built the tools and who abused the tools, right? So I feel like power, wealth, and all that does spoil people. It's very hard to not give in to temptation. I think that's ultimately what life's about, is you got all this temptation and you got to fight it off. And I feel that, yeah, given everything in North American and Western cultures, which is a very materialistic society, I feel like once these creators that meant well started to kind of experience, money and fame, then they kind of are lured to the dark side. Similarly, I think it's utter bullshit to think that YouTube execs give a damn, fundamentally, about individual creators. It's a platform that gives them a lot of power with advertisers who fund this whole universe, and they are absolutely going to throw a given YouTuber and channel under the bus if it's kind of convenient. Now, I'm not saying that individually they have bad intentions, either side, but I feel human nature being what it is, the creators are going to go bad, and YouTube has a platform to defend, and they have shareholders and advertisers to protect. So who came first? Put it to you this way. If the creators would have not pushed the envelope or gamed the system, I don't think YouTube would have had to go nuclear and just be like, okay, all LGBT, and I'm not blaming the LGBT community, nor am I protecting YouTube. But I feel like if there weren't a few bad apples that did bad shit, YouTube would not have had to go nuclear and flip a switch and be like, okay, we got to protect advertisers. They didn't sign up for this, so all LGBT stuff is safer, better be safe than sorry. So ultimately, I think it's humans who abuse tools. And I don't think that the average, and it speaks about this, there was a follow-up article on The Verge about how a lot of former YouTubers are now employees at YouTube. And that's the thing. I don't think the average YouTube employee wakes up even knowing what the hell the Paul brothers are thinking. You know, when we used to wake up and you mentioned 2013, when we did Top 10 Ruthless Dictators, naive as it is, to me that was in clickbait. I was like, this is educational. This is a way to be like, hey.
Oh yeah, I will fight that fight.
No, but that's it. Like, and that's what we did. But it's also when YouTube told us, like, hey, videos like this are not brand safe. If you want to do them, you may not make money. I wasn't there saying you guys are bad, you're censoring us. I said, hey, if we want to be on the platform, it's their platform, right? So it's ultimately,
yeah, I agree
think,
if you got to play the game, but I would have fought that fight.
Well, we did. I mean, look.
No, because, I mean, that's something you show in school. That's something you learn in school. How's that not brand safe?
I agree with you, and it's not like I said we wouldn't produce that video. We still produce things that are not deemed brand safe. We just probably don't put everything we do on YouTube, right? So what we said was, I felt like I was in YouTube's house, and if YouTube says take off your shoes, I'm going to take off my shoes. Now, if I'm reenacting the Die Hard scene, you better believe it, I'm putting on some shoes to walk on glass. It's a different context. It's a different environment. So my point is, people have to remember, YouTubers did not, these influencers did not build YouTube. I think that's what I find in the article, that the premise is false. YouTube was built on piracy and billions of creators, of which maybe 0.1% became famous. But let's drop this bullshit that YouTubers only created YouTube. No, YouTubers created a part of YouTube that a part of that audience saw. I guarantee you, like, if you go through my history, it's all music, and that's what, YouTube is to me. So if, like, the record labels are like, we built YouTube, I'd be like, yeah. Like, I'm not a gamer per se. I was a gamer when I was a kid, but I'm not a gamer anymore. But so if somebody came to me and said the Let's Play community is what drove it, in my existence, as a analyst, I could look at the numbers and be like, yeah, gaming is a huge part. But that's where, like, everybody kind of just wants to look at it from their point of view and not put themselves in other people's shoes.
Whose time is it to shine now?
Wow. Well, I mean, if you could figure that out, if you could kind of, like, when people come to us and they're like, we're doing a list, I'm like, oh, it's kind of mature, saturated, figure out the next thing. If you could connect the dots from, piracy, do-it-yourself, unboxing, lists, Let's Play, whatever comes next, if you could figure that out, but the problem is you can't just figure it out because you're like, I see an opportunity. You got to legitimately like what you do. So it's got to sit at the intersection of that. If you could figure out what is it that you really like and you're willing to do it every day and be committed to it for years, and something that not necessarily everybody else is doing, and don't worry about the whole brand safety monetization early on. Just do your thing. And then if you could figure that out, you're good. But that's what makes YouTube amazing, because you can't really predict. And that's what I love about it. It's like, if you hate the old way of doing things in media, the whole gatekeeper model, YouTube remains the best thing since sliced bread, because it is possible for, like, a kid in his basement to go on and build a huge successful franchise, right? As like an entrepreneur, as a driven young individual, if you go back 20 years and you're like, there's going to be this platform, and you could, with your bare hands, just like recruit people and assemble something, and with a clean slate, build an organization that has 70, 80 employees, I'd be like, you're on drugs. That's impossible, right? So to the haters who bash on YouTube, don't be a sore loser. Don't be knocking something because it doesn't work for you. Every day YouTube doesn't work for WatchMojo, like doesn't work out for WatchMojo. That doesn't mean it sucks. It just means it's their platform. I'm going in their house, and if they say take off your shoes, I'll take off my shoes.
Hopefully they don't tell you to take off anything else. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments. Is the golden age of YouTube over?